boyfriend of 3 years found out how much money I have. He wants me to pay off for a house for us as well as a new car and fund a trip for him to go abroad. He started referring to my money as our money. It feels inappropriate for a boyfriend of 3 years, especially when we're not engaged. Now I am considering breaking up with him over this. I want to make it clear that I have always spent money on my boyfriend, buying him nice things and whatnot. He got his PlayStation 4 and new gaming personal computer because of me. My boyfriend, however, found out that I have a good amount of money and has started to behave quite weirdly about it. Several times, he has referred to my money as our money and talked about using our money to buy him the luxury car he has dreamt of having. He wants us to move out of our separate apartments and get a house together, and he has suggested that instead of getting him a small Christmas gift, I should fund a trip for him to see Europe. I am from Italy and have family in Bulgaria, Croatia, and the Netherlands, while he is from Canada. Regarding the luxury car, it is less about whether I can afford it and more about the fact that it seems like something you would get for your husband or wife, not your boyfriend of 3 years. I can understand the idea of getting a house together if we were engaged or something, but we are not, although he has been talking about marriage several times in the past few months. Finally, yes, I can afford a trip for both of us to tour Europe, but whereas it is something I might have thought of for us to do before, he only brought it up after finding out that I have the money to pay for it. Is this reason enough to break up with him? Update. I did not automatically dump my boyfriend. I decided I would have a talk with him. I told him that it was basically really inappropriate to find out I have money and start making demands. I explained that I have no problems using my finances for our relationship, but he should not automatically expect me to spend money on very expensive things for him, just because. He seemed very ashamed and agreed that it was a really terrible thing to do. He said he had gotten carried away and a bit too excited. I told him I understood, but doing that was very disrespectful to me and the time we had spent together, because it made me feel like my money was all that mattered. For a little while, it seemed like all was well. Then, the other day, we were having a minor argument over something that turned into a bigger argument, and he said something along the lines of, "Well, you do not even want to use what you have for us, so maybe you never cared about me." He got really quiet, as though he knew that was a horrible thing to say, and we did not talk for 2 days. I was really angry and was planning to talk things through with him. However, this is what led to the end of the relationship. He told a couple of people we are close with, despite me asking him to keep quiet about my finances, that I was really rich and could afford tons of things. How did I find out? On Saturday, we all went drinking together. He had a bit too much to drink and ordered an expensive bottle of wine. One of our friends was like, "Who orders that? We are good with our beers. That is too expensive." Another friend chimed in and said, "No, it is fine." Suddenly, several people, whom I had never told about my family's money, started grilling me about why I never trusted them enough to tell them about my financial situation. They said things like, "Oh, I thought we were friends." I broke up with him the next day. He has been blowing up my phone all day, but I do not care anymore. I could have moved past what he said during our argument the other day, but for him to share something I specifically asked him not to, something I trusted him so much with, is unforgivable. Yes, I have lost a 3-year relationship and I will probably lose a few friends as well. Next story. My dad remarried following my mother's death and I was forced into a difficult relationship with my spoiled stepsister. I've planned a summer cabin trip with friends, but my dad is asking me to take her with me on the trip, which I refused, leading to a major argument. So I have decided to move out and not live with them. I am a 17-year-old female and I am graduating. My friends and I have already planned a trip to a cabin for the summer before we start college. I have been a babysitter since I was 13 years old, so I have saved up a considerable amount of money. When I was 15 years old, my father got remarried about a year and a half after my mother passed away. My father's wife had a 13-year-old daughter, and as soon as we moved in together, they started pushing her off on me and forcing us to do everything together. I do not like my stepsister. She is always throwing tantrums if she does not get what she wants. She is spoiled to the point that, at my 16th birthday, she got her own special cake so she would not feel left out, and she also blew out the candles on my cake. When I complained, my father told me, "It's time to grow up. Being a sister is about sharing things." I told him that I did not have a sister, and I guess she overheard because she went on a rampage. The party was ruined. I distanced myself even more from them after that. I am constantly forced to either take her with me to places or stay home with her if I cannot take her, or if my father or his wife cannot watch her or do not want to deal with her. Imagine everything I have mentioned she does with my father and his wife, but now directed at a 15 to 17-year-old me. I was forced to take her bowling with me, and she would not stop trying to dig her hands in the part where the bowling balls come out. She even tried running down the lane, so I had to take her home, and my night was ruined. This happens often, but they do not care. I tried to keep this trip a secret from her, but one day when I was in my room talking about it on the phone over pizza and music, I found out that she had snuck in and hidden in the closet, eavesdropping. She burst out asking if she could come, and I told her no and to get out. She started stomping her feet and ran out. My friends begged me not to invite her. My father called me downstairs and asked if she could go because she could use a vacation. I told him that I am not taking her. They can take her on a vacation, but I am not watching her for almost 3 weeks alone. My father's wife called me selfish, saying that my father was paying for a portion of the trip anyway, and if Lily did not go, then I would not get to go. I told her that she does not get a say in any of this, that she is not my mother, and to stop forcing her child on me when she created what she is. Lily started yelling at me about not being a good big sister and not wanting to spend time with her. I snapped and told her I do not. She ran away crying, and my father said he would not pay for the rest of my trip if I did not take her. So I told him that if he did that, I would not be talking to him anymore, nor would I forgive him for it. He said I was being dramatic and that Lily is not that bad. So I packed a bag and went to my aunt's house, my mother's sister, and told her what happened. She said she would cover what my father took away, and when I go to college, I can stay with her. I told my father what I was doing, and he blew up at me, calling me a brat and saying they are my family. Now, not my aunt. As far as I know, Lily does not have any disabilities. She has been to doctors and therapy. She is just insanely spoiled, and that is how she has always gotten her way when told no. The first time I met her, everyone agreed on Mexican food except her, and she yelled in the car for 10 minutes before calming down after her mother appeased her. Then, she went back to texting on her phone. If she does have a condition, then that would explain why she acts the way she does, and I can accept that she cannot help it, but I still should not be forced to watch her 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Update. The trip happened and I did not end up taking Lily, just like I said I would not. From the time I posted about the situation until the day I left, the household was very tense and awkward. I was not speaking to any of them. The only person I had to confide in was my aunt, and I am so grateful for her. My father still thought I was going to bring Lily on the trip, and I kept telling him that I am not watching her and she is not coming with me. On the morning of the trip, we left at around 6 o'clock. By the time my father called me, I was already 5 hours away, so he could not do anything. When I returned, there was a lot of yelling and crying between me, my father, and his wife. She said that I left them in a tough position because they had to stay home since they could not find anyone to watch Lily. My father and I had a serious conversation for hours, and he agreed that maybe we need to separate for a while to work on our relationship. This hurt me because I would have liked for him to tell me that I could stay in my own home while we work things out. But I did end up moving to my aunt's house without any issues. My father and I started family therapy, just the two of us. His wife was upset that he was actually listening to me and seeing where I was coming from. Just when things were getting better between us, I came over for dinner one night, and my father asked if we could integrate his wife and Lily into therapy. I told him that I had no interest in having a relationship with them. His wife called me a selfish saying I should be grateful that she let me stay with them after she moved in. I waited for my father to correct her, but he was silent, so I left and have not spoken to him in almost a month. He keeps showing me that he will never be on my side. So, to sum things up, the cabin trip was amazing. I have never felt so free from a burden. The trip took place in June, and we stayed there for almost a month. We extended it. When I was packing for school, my father came to visit. I guess his wife called, and he had to lie about where he was because apparently, she does not want him to see me. So, I told him we do not need to have any contact right now or continue therapy, as it is clear which part of his family he cares about more. I do not know what will happen between me and my father, and right now I do not care. I am focused on school and studying to become a nurse. I do not want any negativity to ruin this experience. However, I would be lying if I said it does not hurt that I do not have a parent to experience this with. But my aunt has said she is my surrogate mother, and I can share all my worries and successes with her. I am currently in my first week of college, and the amount of freedom I feel here is so new. I am a little overwhelmed, but I am part of an honors club, and I also joined a creative writing/book club. The friends I have made are amazing. I am living on campus, and I have never been better mentally. I am also receiving therapy to help me deal with my mother's death, something my father never offered. My aunt has truly become a mother figure to me. Being 2 states away from her is hard, but I am looking forward to weekend and holiday visits. One more thing, I am going to be a godmother. My aunt was told when she was 22 years old that she would never be able to have children, and now she is 4 months pregnant. I am so excited because if anyone is going to be a good mother, it will be her. When she came to visit and tell me the news, I think she noticed I was a little worried. I told her I am so happy for her and nothing will change that, but she is the only family I have, and I do not want to feel left behind like I did at home. We both cried, and she promised me that she is filling in for my mother and will be there for the rest of my life, whether I like it or not. I am planning the baby shower, and I cannot wait for the baby to arrive.